today's video, we are going to go and break down the three most important n8n nodes, or at least the three nodes that I use the most in n8n. These are sort of the most crucial to learn. When you know this, you can practically do everything. It is the sort of most important nodes to know that you will use in your revenue generating workflows, in your day-to-day workflows, for analysis, for scraping to get information. In reality, they have a very flexible ability to do a lot of things. So let's get straight into the video and go through the three most important nodes here. Okay guys, so there are three nodes here, and the first one is the most simple yet the most sort of not important node, but the one I use most. I mean, I use this in almost every workflow I have, and there's a real reason for it. It's the schedule trigger, and it's the way to start your workflow on autopilot. When we talk about AI automation and autonomous workflows, we are really talking about workflows that can operate by themselves, but they need to start at some point or based on some sort of trigger, right, that initiates the workflows. And this is what we can do with the schedule trigger. It starts the workflow based on the time that you put it, based on, again, the time zone within the n8n. So when we open this up, we will see that we have days, seconds, minutes, hours, weeks, months, and a custom cron job. And we can put the days or the minutes and specify that here, as well as be more specified on the exact timing that we want to have the workflow autonomously start. And there are sort of other rules you can do to make it more flexible, and as well you can also trigger it by the minute. Now, the one important thing is the custom cron job, because this is in reality a code that you can put in a super flexible variable time output. So you can say only Sundays at 4 o'clock, but not Mondays at 3 o'clock, but also all other days at 10. Like, you can say everything through a code, and you will just, the easiest way to get the custom cron code, if you don't know how to do it, just ask ChatGPT, you describe what you want, and he will give you, and you will be able to add that here. And you can also actually add an expression, so you can make it more customizable as a JSON code. But in reality, usually you can make a workflow start, for example, an hour, like once every day at a specific time. So this is the schedule trigger. It's the most simple. There's literally no complexity except that, but it's a very important one because it enables our workflows to operate autonomously. There are other schedule triggers as well, but this one is the one I use the most. Second, we have the HTTP node. The HTTP node is crucial to understand and to know, because you can basically fetch and connect to the entire internet with this node. You have GET, which is sort of the way you will get information, say it speaks by itself. You also have the POST, which can also get information, but you can also send information and sort of publish information in a way. All the other ones you really do not need to know. But for example, when you do GET, you can add any website. Here is ours, and you will just get the information. You just need to ensure that you have the right domains. I think we even need HTTPS. Yeah, so we would need to be even more detailed. You need to copy it from the browser, and this should be working. And now we will get the entire sort of website code. And we can add much more than this. There is not so much important information, but you can see about our company, right? Our website, our AI agency. So you can get any information. And then again, when you have the headers, you specify the headers with API keys, and also the body, what type of information. You can really interact with any sort of API documentation out there, right? Because you will connect to, for example, any tool, and they will have an API, and this is the node you will use to get the information from their systems, right? So you will have the headers, and you will have things like authorization, and then you would have bearer, and then you have your API key here. And then there's also other things. And then the last thing that you should be aware of is that once you have the documentation for any other tool, you can just import the ccurl command here. You paste it and you open it, and it will open up an entirely customized, ready to use workflow for you. There are other options here too, such as batching, which means that you can query multiple times at the same time. You have response in case that you are expecting a file. You can put file here. You will get the file inside n8n. So these are a few of the tips of the HTTP node. In next videos, we will exactly show you how to use it, but we have sort of demonstrated that already in other videos. Lastly, we have the AI agent. Now, this is a very important one because it's basically what makes n8n so sort of flexible, modular, and nice. So you, for example, have a connected input into the AI agent. Here, for example, we are maybe scraping the website, right? And we can give that to the AI agent. So first of all, you should understand that we don't have a chat trigger. We either have this trigger and the HTTP, right? So then we would just change that to be defined below, because that's the prompt. If the prompt is not being written by someone in a chat, which in by the way, there are it would be the chat trigger that you would use for that. But no, we are not using the chat trigger, we're using this. So let's say we just want him to analyze the website, like, what is this website, right? And then you say website to make him understand. And then he will see all the information here, right? And this is the AI agent. Now here, there are some things, but they are not so important. You can add a system prompt, just like an overall prompt. Here you add the chat model, so remember to have the OpenAI API key defined, and you choose the model. You can choose any model, Gemini, Claude, but we use ChatGPT here. Memory is the ability for it to remember the prompts. So you can use a memory node, even the simple memory by the n8n, and it will store the memories for you, and not needed for our testing here. And lastly, you can connect tools to it, so you can do so much more connected to different databases, different information, and also tools that it can perform actions for you. Even you can have an HTTP request tool inside the AI agent. So we just teach you how to use this, and now we can enable the AI agent to really define the stuff, right? For example, headers, what's the name, you can make it define, and usually you have everything except like one thing defined, which is usually a prompt or some specific information that it can choose, for example, like a chat or like a text on some query or whatever. So this is also not needed, but this is important for you to understand, that you can really connect and build AI agents here inside n8n with all of these different tools. And then let's see, when we just run this with the information we have, you can literally just press this. We have pinned this information. Now it runs the entire workflow. And now you have a very customized workflow that is based on schedule trigger, takes information from the internet, and then gives it to the agent and analyzes it. And here we can see that it provided us an output. The website you provided appears to be for Frama Creative AI Studio. It's our AI agency, which positions itself as an AI automation partner for business growth. And now you really have an AI agent with customized internet live information. And this is super valuable because now you can give it tasks. You can, for example, say, imagine that imagine you have a client, right? And they're looking for AI automation agencies. So you can really analyze them. Is this agency good for me as a, let's say, real estate agent? And then you can sort of have some analysis and, really help companies and clients, for example, process data. So let's just see what it says. Of course, this was totally random. As a real estate agent, whether or not this agent could be beneficial for you depends on your specific tasks, needs, objectives. Yeah, so it gives an analysis, and there's some case studies, blah 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 blah. So this is in reality how to build like a nice n8n workflow. It's super simple. I made it in literally 2 minutes, and I hope that this little sort of tutorial was helpful for you. It's a short one, but it's the notes that I use the most. And in the next ones, we're going to build even more complex tutorials for you. Hope you like this video. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.